the right brain drives me insane. Don't lie, don't lie, don't lie to me. Don't fry, don't fry, don't fry your brain.
Nashville Hot Chicken. We're going to get started in just a moment, but first things first, I need to take a sip. That's very good. You all should know by now, when I cook, I like to have my booze. In this case, since it's early in the morning and we're going to do this recipe in stages, I've got my coffee. Take a look at that mug. You see that? Papa Bear. That's from my kid. So whenever you see me drinking from this mug, even though I won't say it, know that that's a secret shout out to my kid. All right, so for the chicken, here's how you get it started. First, you start with chicken. You can do pieces or you can do a whole chicken, whatever works for you. What I did initially was I put this in a salt brine. That's basically where you take a tablespoon or two of kosher salt, put it in warm water to dissolve it. Let the water come back up to room temperature. Put your chicken in there and let it sit in the water for anywhere from 30 minutes to 4 hours, but not overnight. After you've done that, pour your water out, take your chicken out, pat the chicken dry. You don't need to rinse the chicken. And then it is ready for the next stage. In terms of our next stage, we're gonna make what I call a rub, what some people call a dry brine, but I call it a dry rub. And that is essentially where you have garlic powder, paprika, cayenne, ground pepper. And in this case, I'm gonna eliminate the salt because we had the salt in the brine. I don't like to cook with a lot of salt. I would recommend that you eliminate the salt the first time, the extra salt the first time you do this, so that you won't wind up with too much salt. The next stage we go to when we're ready to fry the chicken, we're gonna add salt there. So for me, I personally don't wanna add salt at each of those stages. Now, before I put my ingredients together, let me show you what I like to do with chicken to prep it. I got this tip. Well, I've known tips like this for years, but this particular tip I'm going to show you, I got from a neighbor who often brings me either curry chicken or tandoori chicken. And what I found that when they do this technique, that chicken is extremely flavorful. It's so good, in fact, that I could probably consider eating the bones. If I knew they wouldn't get lodged up inside and cut me all up, I'd eat the bones. So here's what I like to do. Take the chicken and just put cuts in it down to the bone. And in this case, I probably should have mixed my spices before I touch the chicken. Make sure that you stay aware of that so that you don't risk cross-contaminating any of your food or utensils. Just make a few cuts down to the bone so that the spices can get down up in there.
Drives me insane. Don't lie, don't lie, don't lie to me.
You can also use an ice pick if that works for you. Just take an ice pick and poke a bunch of holes in it, and that'll help your spices get down deep within the chicken.
More carrots.
Now, bear with me a moment while I clean my hands and we'll come right back. Okay, thanks everybody for bearing with me. All right, we're ready. So let's get our spices together. So our garlic powder, paprika, cayenne, pepper, And remember, we're gonna pass on the salt. Let's mix that up real good. And if you find that you don't have enough spices, just make another batch. Okay, that's good. So what I'm gonna do here is lay my chicken out and get it covered. I mentioned a moment ago about the ice pick. If you don't want to cut the slits in the chicken, you can always give it some pokes with the ice pick. I like to do this when I'm doing a marinade with like a buttermilk or milk. I especially like to poke holes in the chicken when I'm doing that. When I'm doing it that way, excuse me. All right, so let's get some spices on here.
Here come from the west side, left side, the right brain drives me insane.
For some of you that like a lot of spices, this may seem like it's not a whole lot, but on our next stage, when we fry it, we're gonna add more spices, so this will be fine. So then I'm gonna flip it, make sure we get the other side coated pretty well.
More carrots. Don't tear it. More carrots. Where's Garrett?
Now I'm gonna look for any place that I may have missed on the chicken, especially the larger pieces.
Here come from the west side, left side, the right brain drives me insane. Don't lie, don't lie, don't lie to me. Don't fry, don't fry, don't fry. Your
All right, and then I'm gonna use up all of this. Now, we're gonna put this in a bag and we're going to seal it, put it in the refrigerator for a minimum of 4 hours. But at this stage, if you wanted to go 24 hours, that'll be fine.
more carrots. Don't tear it. More carrots. Where's Garrett?
Okay, that is the first stage. Seal it, refrigerate it, let it marinate for, again, a minimum of 4 hours. Beyond that, as long as you would like, up to 24 hours. All right, I'm gonna get this cleaned up, and our next step will be frying up the Nashville Hot Chicken. Hey, I'm back. All right, our chicken has been marinating and it is ready to be prepped and put in the grease. But y'all know this already. If I'm cooking, I'm drinking. That's good. Guess what? You can't have none. That's good. All right, let's get started. So, as I said, our chicken has been marinating. It is ready to go. Let me show you the batter that I'm gonna put the chicken in before we put it in the grease. I basically got flour, cayenne, salt, and pepper. That'll be mixed together. And then we'll dip it in the flour first. Then we'll dip it in our buttermilk mixture. This is essentially buttermilk, eggs, hot sauce. We'll dip it again in the flour, which will be the third dip. The fourth dip will be back into the buttermilk mixture, and we'll finish off with one last dip in the flour. Nashville hot chicken is known for its wonderful flavor, its heat, and its crunchiness. And going through these steps is what's going to give us that. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Let me get my gloves on. Somebody out there, tell me a story while I put my gloves on. That's not funny. I need something a little better than that. Oh yeah, I remember that. Ah, good story. I have to reward myself with a drink for listening to it. Good stuff. All right, so let's get our cayenne in here. Come over here, folks. Take a look at that. Put our cayenne in there. Our salt and pepper. This is the last time I'm gonna put salt in here because I brined it in salt. And as I said earlier, I don't generally use a lot of salt. So the next two steps, I'm not gonna add the salt that the recipe calls for. And this is pretty quick. You just wanna make sure it's evenly distributed. One of the things I like to do, as I told you on my last video, when I have dry ingredients, I like to mix them together before I put them in whatever larger bowl or portion of the recipe that it calls for. I think I get a more even distribution when I do that. Okay, this is about ready. All right, now let's move over to our buttermilk mixture. So in this case, we have our eggs.
Don't fry, don't fry, don't fry.
And we have our hot sauce.
Brine.
Separate mixing tool. Let's get that mixed up nice and thoroughly. Any of y'all ever have buttermilk and cornbread? That was the thing my mom liked to eat when I was a kid. Buttermilk and cornbread. Who comes up with that? Okay, this is about ready to go. So let's go ahead and get our hands dirty. Got our chicken here. So as I mentioned, we're gonna do flour first.
Drives me insane. Don't lie, don't lie, don't lie to me.
Then buttermilk.
Don't fry, don't fry, don't fry. Your
Why y'all sitting way over there? Come here. Come closer. Get on over here. Okay. So get that thoroughly coated. Then I'll let it drip off. Back into the flour. Coat it. Okay. Now, back into the buttermilk. Back into the flour. Now let's coat it again. Okay, I think you all see how this goes. Now put it on the rack. Okay, you see the process. I don't think you need to be bored with me doing the rest of this. So I'll finish getting the chicken prep, and I'll be back in a moment when we're ready to put it in the oil. Okay? Run and get yourself something to drink so you can drink with me. All right? See you in a couple of minutes. So as I put this in, I'm watching the temperature of my oil because of course it's going to drop, but I don't really want it to drop below 350 degrees. So that's why I'm adding the chicken slowly. And I'll do it in batches. I'll fry it in batches. Okay, I'll let that fry and be back with you guys in just a couple of minutes. Okay, now we're going to make the spicy finishing oil. And if you look here, what I have here for the spicy oil is cayenne, we've got paprika, garlic powder, brown sugar. So I'm going to mix this up a little bit. Oops. And this may seem unconventional, but this is what you do with Nashville Hot Chicken. You take a label of the hot grease while the chicken is cooking, and it's probably going to bubble up a little bit, so be prepared for that. Oops. Now watch this. See that? And then we mix this together. And this is what we're going to slather on our chicken when we're done cooking it. This is called the spicy finishing oil. All right, ooh, that's hot. All right, I will be back with you all once the chicken is done.
More carrots. Don't tear it. More carrots. Where's Garrett? Vegetables. Vegetables. Here it come from the west side.
Okay, folks, here you have Nashville Hot Chicken. That is a standalone meal in and of itself, but I had some corn on hand, so I made some elote. Take a look at it. Come here. Take a look at that. But first, I'm going to taste this Nashville chicken. Let's do a quick taste. Let's see here. Look at that. Wait, I want to put a little more spicy finishing oil on it. Come in nice and tight, folks. Look at that. Put a little more spicy finishing oil on it. Let's have a taste. Let's see what this crunch do. Oh, wait. Wait, folks. Wait a minute. Come here. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Can y'all hear that crunch? Oh. Wait a minute. Come here. Come here. Listen here. Oh, good. Ah. Look at that. Come here. I'm not gonna even wipe my mouth. I'm gonna lick my fingers. I need a drink. Oh, this IPA. Damn, that's good. Hey, bon appetit. And cue the music. Bye-bye, y'all. Wait. If you already subscribed to this channel, I love you. If you haven't subscribed, God damn it, what are you waiting for? Tell your mama. Tell your daddy. Tell your auntie. Tell your pastor. Tell your mechanic. Tell your dog groomer. Tell your banker. Anybody who will listen, tell them to subscribe to this channel. See you on the next video. Bye-bye, y'all.
More carrots. Don't tear it. More carrots. Where's Garrett?